There's a dark cloud over Columbus right now. Ohio State loses its fourth straight game to Michigan. So, J-Mart, I want to keep the conversation going on Ohio State. First of all, I know you said you had a couple quick thoughts that you weren't able to get to in the first segment, so I'll give you the floor. Where do you want to pick up the conversation? Again, Ohio State loses 13-10 to Michigan, the worst Michigan team that Ryan Day will almost certainly ever face. And oh, by the way, let's keep in mind as well that this is coming off of a year in which they've publicly acknowledged spending $20+ million in NIL money. Plus, you went out and paid $2 million to get Chip Kelly as your offensive coordinator, and it results with the same final result that you've had the last 3 years against your biggest rivals. Go ahead, J-Mart, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, the flag planting, it's unfortunate because of how out of control it got. It's not the first time it's happened. We remember Baker Mayfield doing it. Michigan's done it before. It also happened and ignited a little bit of a fight in NC State's game against North Carolina as well.
Florida State, just right before we came on air.
So maybe we need to knock that off. In general, we want to talk about.
Don't get your butt kicked.
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah,
take the yell captains and have them grab the flags 2-3 minutes before the game ends, so you can't even grab one, so you can't find one to grab to save these guys from themselves. But all the commentary that you heard afterwards, and actually this was interesting because Fox, of course, is doing the game, so we're listening to Gus and Joel, and they disagree because Joel's just kind of like, this is kind of how it is. This is what happens here. This isn't the first time we've seen this, and Gus is saying this is classless and all this kind of stuff. He's coming after Michigan. Usually I like Gus, but I thought he was wrong. Like, I understand you could talk about the sportsmanship and all this kind of stuff, but they beat them on their field. It's that rivalry. They planted the flag. Ohio State didn't care for it, but if Ohio State really wanted to stop it, Aaron, they would have beaten them.
Exactly.
They would have won the game. I'm sorry. Like, I get that it's not the most dignified thing to do. But these two teams hate each other. They might have mutual respect in terms of the ability on the other side and the tradition and all that, but they despise each other. Their fans despise each other. There's a reason why this is called The Game. There's a reason why this is like this every year. Michigan punked them on their field, beat them, held them to 10 points in their building, when Michigan was barely over 500 and was having an incredibly down year and had no offense to speak of, and they still were able to beat you on your field. And then they planted the flag because they own you, because they've now beaten you 4 years in a row, and you watched it on your own home field. Yeah, I'm sure you were upset. Should have been more upset during the 60 minutes during the game. That's what I say. Like, that to me felt like spoiled, cheap losing. And this isn't about hating Ohio State or anything else,
exactly.
But I was just kind of like, how soft can you be? Where was that fight for the last 60 minutes? That was my issue. And then you look at the Ryan Day thing. You sent me the video, and I watched it, and it's similar to what I had seen live on the thing. And I'm watching Ryan Day's face, and I'm just like, dude, can you be bothered right now? Like, are you just that sad or blown up or clueless? Get your guys off the field. Or fake it and look like you're part of it. Like, show some brand of emotion. I don't care what it is, but you can't stand there like that. You can't. I understand how tough that loss was, and you trying to, in your head, trying to figure out what's next, what's the reaction going to be. Maybe you can actually feel the fire coming off your seat because of that game or whatever like that. But you have to be the most passionate guy there. I guarantee you, if that had been reversed and Harbaugh was the coach, or Sharon Moore for that reason, they'd have either been in the thick of it or they would have been screaming at their guys to get off the field. And Ryan Day's just sitting there with his hands in his, 1985 Letterman jacket, just kind of chilling. And it's just like, dude, this is the whole point. Like, it's your energy or lack thereof that is the biggest cause for what we've seen over the last 4 years, because it doesn't matter who's on the field. It doesn't matter how talented they are, because we see those guys go and play on Sundays and dominate, but they can't beat Michigan. They can't even beat a Michigan who has a quarterback nobody even knows. Like, all of their quarterbacks, I can't name one of them right now. There's great stories for Michigan. I have no idea any of the skill talent players on their team because I've had no reason to know them all year long, and yet they still punked you in Columbus in the horseshoe and planted the flag, and then your guys are going to go up there and grab the flag. You're not going to do that to us. Why not? They just completely annihilated you over the course of a 60-minute game. I understand it was a 3-point game, but it may as well have been 50 as far as I was concerned. That was just a bad look, in my opinion, for Ohio State. I kind of shrug my shoulders at the Michigan of it all and say, yeah, you know what? You were a 20-point dog to your rival. You despised them. You've heard it all week long, and then you came in there and beat them. I kind of understand why you planted the flag. It might be arrogant, might not be the most dignified thing, but you earned the right to stand there with your chest poked out and be obnoxious on their field.